Hello, everybody. Welcome. Who's here? Eating champs, how are we all? Benny, how are you, mate? We're here. Pies Footy Show, episode number 2. Getting some coffee in me. Stab, how you going? What's happening? How was your day? What'd you get up to? Benny, what'd you get up to? That shill. Guys, I've been battling sickness. I took work off today, but I couldn't say no to the stream. So hopefully my employers aren't watching me. I've got a crazy earache. I just feel sick. I feel horrible. Chris, how you going? How are you? Welcome to the stream. We've got plenty to talk about. We've got the Nick Daicos to talk about. We've got Jamie Elliott that I want to talk about, Ned Long. I've got a predicted 23 that I want you guys to see, and we can discuss whether you agree or disagree. So we'll see where everyone is. Hi, all. Mark, how you going, mate? Benny, it might be flu season. I feel shocking, mate. I really do. But I couldn't let the squad down. I needed to be here. So on night shift, Chris. There you go. Gibbo, how you going, mate? What's happening? How is everyone? Anybody else sick? I am struggling. Just trying to see something for the stream, guys. Give me one moment. View channel. Check the live. Okay, welcome to chat. Settings. There you go. Cool. Well up, fam. How you going? Far out. Well, there's something going around for sure. Absolutely. Cold. Yeah, Benny's sick of Collingwood losing. If that counts for anything, it does. It sure does count for something. Have we recovered from the game, guys? Are we mentally retuned to go back at it again this Friday? I'm going to the game. I'm going to be in a long room in the MCC for the first time, so that will be very interesting. I'm looking forward to that. So Peter reckons Noble, Elliott, and Johnson should be the ins this week. Well, don't you worry. I've certainly got some stuff to talk about regarding a predicted 23. Let me just enable this. Give me one moment. Supers, get started. We've just been approved from Google AdSense as well, guys. So that's good. Just trying to set up super chats, super stickers. I don't know how any of this works. So you're eligible. Turn super chat, super thanks. Okay. So it's now enabled. So let me I want to see if that's actually registered, guys. So you think Darcy goes forward and Howe goes back? There could be a conversation. We're still a shot at finals. We are, Mark. We are certainly still a shot at finals. And who's to say we're not a shot at the premiership still? I reckon we're still a chance. Don't worry about that. Where's my... Here we go. Premiership still. Chat. Okay, there we go. Beautiful. All right, so waiting for many to donate funds. Jimbo, how you going? Hope you're good. Yeah, all right. So let's get into a few of the segments. So just talking about Nick Daicos, I think one of the big things coming out of that game against Essendon was a narrative that his ball use was quite poor. And he had his lowest disposal efficiency for his career, which was 41%. But I don't think the vitriol or the criticism is warranted. I think Nick's being tagged. It's not a run with roll. It's a tagging role. People were literally chasing his tail. They're on his case. He's the hit to guy in the stoppages. So he's the guy that we're relying on to get the ball from in the contest to out the contest. So no longer is the ball going to a Pendlebury or a Daicos or a Tom Mitchell who isn't available and then shoveling it out to Nick Daicos. Nick Daicos is now being that first point of reference. And therefore, when you get the ball amidst that heat, and naturally you're Nick Daicos, you want to take the game on, there's going to be times where you're not going to have the cleanest disposal. But fortunately for Nick, he has a left foot, unlike many players in the competition. And maybe that's a detriment to his disposal efficiency when he uses his left foot sometimes. I'd like there to be a stat where it factors in your disposal efficiency on your left foot and your right foot. That's personally what I would like. His shots on goal have also hindered his disposal efficiency over the course of the year. So let's see where Nick Daicos's efficiency is for the year compared to last year. See, we can't even look at last year, guys, because he was off the halfback flank. So naturally, his efficiency should be more last year. But so looking at this year, his centre-backs attendances have gone up from 42% to 73%, and yet his disposal efficiency is only down by 7 percentages. That's the craziest part of them all. So he's that go-to guy. His contested possessions have gone up from 9 to 15. So he's getting the ball in the heat, and he's still managing to move the ball quite well. So, and if we look at his shots on goal, he's having the same amount of shots and is averaging the same amount of goals. Accuracy is the same. So there you go. There's that as well. So I don't think it's all doom and gloom when it comes to Nick Daicos' disposal. Yeah. Is he trying too much? I don't know. I think he's just being asked of a really difficult role to be played, being that person to get the ball out of the contest. And it can be difficult when you're getting tagged as well, and your name's Nick Daicos. It's not going to be easy to get the cleanest disposals of all time. And to add to my case, furthermore, he's still got 2 coaches' votes on the weekend. So if an AFL coach can give someone like Nick Daicos 2 votes, despite the 41% disposal efficiency, it just shows that he wasn't just, I guess, he wasn't abusing the ball. It wasn't awful. It's just in the context, it's hard to get the ball out cleanly. There weren't any glaring issues with his kicking that resulted in turnovers, which can't be said for others. Exactly. That's exactly what I was trying to articulate there, Stav. Like his kicks that aren't being attributed to great disposal efficiency are the ones that he's kicking out of the contest. Digsby, how you going, mate? Yeah, we're a bit early today. The Elliott brothers will be united. Will Hoskin, Elliott, and Jamie. Plays his best footy as a receiver. Other lads just aren't getting first and uphill and shoveling it out to him. Exactly. So when Tom Mitchell's in, he does all the dog work. Pendles can do that sometimes as well. So there you go. He's trying to be the first, second, and third, and he can't do it all. He's trying to cover for some of our passengers. JDG's being a passenger from time to time. Oleg was better, Digsby. He was better this weekend. Come on. Although, does he make my team for this weekend? I don't know. But you'll see my predicted 23. I've got a predicted 23 coming up. We'll talk about that segment in a moment. What else did I have, guys, that I wanted to talk about? Let's check my notes here. Guys, Geelong versus Collingwood, right? It's ironic that we're versing them on Friday because they were 0-3 last year, right? As were Collingwood. And at this point of the year, last year, Geelong were 8th and they finished 12th. We're currently 9th. And we have their list versus our list this year around the same age. And they end up finishing 12th for the year. So I'm just hoping, as a Collingwood fan, that we don't follow the trend of being 0-3 like Geelong were last year, being around the 8th position around this time of the year, and then falling off towards the back end. And they had similar problems, guys. They had injuries, and we had injuries across the ground. And it's becoming a lot to deal with. And then you got Darcy Moore, who's out of form. You got Billy Frampton. There's a bunch of things. The system's not working. The pressure's not there from time to time. People complain about the lack of pressure that we had against Essendon, which is true. When you're allowing that many uncontested possessions, I think they had 280 uncontested possessions, which is 14 more than any team that is averaging. The best team is averaging 240 uncontested possessions per game. Essendon had 280. So the tackling pressure is not going to be present if we can't dispute the ball in the contest, because there's no contest if Essendon are keeping the ball, and we failed to amend that. So that's going to be a big issue, guys. It's going to be a massive issue. How can we ensure that teams aren't able to play keepings off against us? Freo did it against us at times. Gold Coast did it. Essendon done it. They did it against us on Anzac Day as well. You guys remember that first quarter? They played keepings off and switched the ball. They did that very well. So what are we going to do? Because I think we're bottom 4 for conceding the most uncontested possessions per game. Last year, we were middle of the pack. We were middle of the pack last year. So that's a little bit to be concerned about. Let's see. I get Jordan. He had a bit of a layoff, but not good enough. Yeah. Heard Oleg was injured. Yeah, I think he injured his groin quite early in that game, which is honourable. Cold take. JDG rips apart one match in every 10. Ooh. I thought he'd been good up until the last game against Essendon. His last 4 games before that, he was averaging 26 disposals, a goal a game, a goal assist per game. With little time in the midfield, I thought he was doing really well, but obviously sort of hit a barrier against Essendon. But so did many of our players, right? So did many of our players. So Peter says, we were poor last Friday night, but consider DeGoey, Daicos, Schultz, Quaynor, Hill, and more all had very poor games. We're getting improved performance from these players this Friday. We win. It's a good way to paint the picture there, Peter, because very rarely you're going to see that many of our top tier players play that poorly, or just have a non-impact on the game. Some were poor, some were just missing. Schultz, Bobby Hill, you could make the case for that for all the forwards that were in the game though, right? And Josh Daicos was under an injury cloud and played through the game, which was good. Schultz had just come back. More IQ. Bobby is someone who's been playing well for the most part of the year, probably lacking a bit of accuracy in front of goals, but I think we can excuse him for the game. Isaac Quaynor is going to be an interesting one, guys. What do we think about Isaac Quaynor? He got moved to the wing against Essendon. Is that Fly thinking, I've been meaning to try Isaac Quaynor on the wing, let's try him there? Or is it Isaac Quaynor is not quite giving us what we need from him off the halfback right now? Where else can we put him other than dropping him? Because still Sidebottom comes in and was a top 3. Was his top 3 now best players against Essendon? 35 odd disposals, intercept marks, took the game on, looked like Sidey of old. So is there room for Isaac Quaynor to resort back to the halfback with John Noble there and Sidey on? Because if Sidey keeps playing like that, just keep him there, because it's a problem we've had. Someone to move the ball off the halfback. Do Geelong dominate? I don't think so. I think they're more of a contested side. Let me double check for you, Benny. They're more of a contested side. Geelong, let me double check. They don't give me uncontested marks. They'll give me possessions though. Yeah, no, Geelong are also bottom 4 for uncontested possessions. So they don't typically hold the ball so much. They're a top 4 contested ball side behind Carlton and GWS. So it'll be a game that will suit Collingwood a bit more, because it won't be playing keepings. The opposition won't be trying to play keepings off against us. Need to ramp that pressure rating up near 200 again. Yep. It's hard though, Stab, when we don't have the ball or when the ball's not in dispute. Stewart usually does bend, but move to midfield. The Jack Chris roll. Yeah, he's rolled into the midfield now. So hopefully with our forward selection dilemma, it alleviates that pressure, knowing that Stewart's not there, and Sam DeConing's not there. He's in the ruck now, so it's a different looking defense for them. Their height killed us Friday night too, which against Geelong is probably not the worst thing either. They've got Jeremy Cameron and Gary Rowan. Gary Rowan's playing very, very well, mind you, since he's come back, and since Tom Hawkins has been out of the side, you could almost make the case that Geelong have been a better side. They're a fast-moving team. They don't like to waste time with the ball. They like to slingshot the ball off half-back. Let's have a look at Gary Rowan's match stats of late. So he's played round 12, 13, 15, 16, 17. Let's have a look. 12. So he had 3. So against Essendon, he had 3 goal assists, 8 score involvements, and 2 goals. And he kicked 2 goals against Hawthorn as well. And he's taking contested marks as well. So he's going to be just keep an eye on old mate Gary Rowan. He's not quite done just yet. Okay, the champ is here. How you going, Steve? We'll play another trivia game on Thursday. I've got you on a leaderboard as well. I've made a leaderboard for people who participate in that trivia guess the blurred picture game. So you're number 1 there, Steve. You're the champ. Oh God, this earache is killing me, guys. Yeah, Pine got to go. Been a great service. Time to pull a Simo on him and tell him thanks for Pendles and our other legends, but time for a new recruiter. I'm pretty sure Decker was quite pivotal in speaking to Ben Reid, he was quite pivotal in the acquisition of Joe Richards. He went and watched Joe Richards play in the Ovens and Murray League for Wangaratta. He watched him play in the 3 finals. So, I mean, that's a pretty quick, good acquisition, no? Thanks, Alan. I hope I'm right for Friday. I really want to go to the game. I've literally been in bed all day. I've just injected myself with 3 shots of coffee and some Barocca to get me through this. I want to be here with you guys. Quaynor bulked up too much. I think it's just natural, Digsby. He's a big boy. You've been heavy on Quaynor the last couple of weeks, so we have the capacity to drop him, though. I don't know if we have the capacity to drop him, though. I think we'll get another opportunity on the wing. And then if that doesn't... The thing is, I think he's quite a versatile player. It's just he's been so good in in defense. So if the wing doesn't work for him, heck, I would like to see him try the midfield. I'd like to see him try forward. I remember in his draft combine, he did the goal kicking competition and won that. I think they have 5 shots each and he kicked every one. So, I mean, it doesn't count for a whole lot, but I think he could be a really handy forward, like a Jamie Elliott, good above the head. I really think there's something in that for Quaynor. I prefer that more than Quaynor being on a wing. I just think he has more ability in that position in the forward line. Yeah, heard all week. Yep, he will be. IQ got to stay back. IQ Legacy game surely on its way soon. We've been waiting for it, Wallop. We've been waiting for it. Just haven't seen it yet. Quaynor would be my sub this week. This could be a wake-up call for him. Who wants to see my predicted 23? Am I there yet? Let me check my topics. Because we want to talk the makeup of our forward line, yeah? Who wants to see my my predicted 23? I've got it here, guys. G'day. Hey, JG, how you going, mate? How you going? Ovens and Murray, Wangaratta Magpies, and it's Hines, few key forwards defenders that have hamstrung us for 15 years. I mean, like, Darcy Moore was initially drafted as a key tall forward, right? No? All right, let's do the predicted 23. This is what I've got. All right, let's have a look. What do we think about that, guys? Read it and weep. Any disagreements? We're hoping, JG, we're hoping Billy is back this year. This week. He's a test. And then Dan McStay is also playing in the forward line. Anyhow, so we've got side bottom Moore, Kruger. So the big one there is Kruger playing in a back line. And I've managed to keep Darcy Moore in there with him. I think that could be a really nice tandem. I really do think that could be something. Nah, I mean, still Sidebottom is back pocket. Like it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to play full back. He's not a full back. It's just he's the back pocket, and he'll play off the half back flank. And then John Noble, Charlie Dean, and Bruzzy. So you got your 4 defensive orientated players in Moore, Kruger, Dean, Bruzzy, and then you got Sidebottom and Noble who are there to move the ball. I've got Josh Daicos on the wing, Pendles in the center, Lipinski on the other wing, Jamie Elliott back in, right? Jeremy Howe I still want Jeremy Howe on the forward line. I think with my check out, we don't have a choice but to keep him there. I've double dipped here. Benny. That can be. Yeah, that could be Hoskin, Elliott, Digsby. Sorry, guys. The Noble in forward pocket is meant to be Hoskin, Elliott. Sorry. Yeah, Noble, yeah. I think it's a good question, Jimbo. I don't know who he plays on, whether it's a Gary Rowan or a Jeremy Cameron. It's an interesting one. That's something I can't answer you. Okay. So we've got, like I said, Jamie Elliott, Schultz, Howe across the half forward, and then your forward pocket, Hoskin, Elliott, DeGoey, Bobby Hill. So I think DeGoey has to play more forward time with my check out. And then we got DC as the ruck rover, Jack Crisp and Daicos in the middle. And then interchange, I think Reef McInnes comes in, guys. I think IQ. I mean, does he play on the bench? I don't know. Ned Long, Richards, and I think my sub is Harrison. I think Harrison, he played well, so he'd be stiff to be a sub. But could it be Richards? I don't know. I really like Richards. I want to see more of him starting. But I think people would probably raise concerns. Do you guys have any concerns with Harrison being the sub, despite kicking 2 goals against Essendon? Is that a bit stiff? And then I've got Markov and Frampton omitted. And then Ash Johnson on the fringe with those 5 goals against Frankston. Was it Frankston in the VFL? Sullivan was the coach's MVP. And then McRae and Bytel. Okay? So we need to win Friday night. This is our grand final. Bring back Elliott. I agree, Paul. Massive game. Does AJ deserve another shot? Maybe see if he can keep his current form in the VFL. I think he will fall just short. I'd be surprised if he gets selected. But when you kick 5 goals in the VFL, do you want to flirt with keeping AJ out, or you give him his last chance and put him in AFL? Jeremy does go around the ground. Yeah, you probably want someone to be accountable for Jeremy Cameron all across the field. You can't let him roam freely. Stealth, I'm all right, mate. A little bit sick. Got an earache. Been in bed all day, but had to get up for the stream. Had to do it. Not versatile enough. Kruger, Digsby. So you want Frampton to lock down a Cameron. So you think Frampton remains in the side. I'm not saying that's not going to happen, but I'm quite comfortable with the team I've listed here. I would love to see this team run out. I'd love to see Isaac Quaynor play in the forward line. But beggars can't be choosers. If HH got a half, I think it could benefit him. Yep. Not bad. Does Ash get a look after kicking 4 in the seconds? I was just saying, maybe do you flirt with AJ and keep him in the VFL and risk losing that run of confidence, or do you just put him in now while he's kicked those goals? Because we know how AJ is heavily dependent on his confidence. Harrison being a sub is fair. He's great for a while, but giving him a rest as a sub is fair. That's what I was thinking. Give him a rest. Let him come in the second half and give us a run. Our subs have done quite well this year. I think back to Ned Long. I think back to Richards. I think back to Finlay McRae when he was a sub. I think back to Jack Crisp against Brisbane when he was a sub. I don't think we've had a bad sub. Maybe Will Parker against the Doggies, but that was more of a coaching error, in my opinion. Just needs time to gel back to his defensive role. Okay. Frampton was bloody horrible. I'd rather Jack Match in 2021. Look, I will say I think Fly has ruined his rhythm in the backline to a certain extent by switching him forward and bringing him back and so on and so forth. So that definitely hurts. That definitely hurts Billy, and it's hurt him. Yep, exactly. If Frampton was on Jezza, he'd kick 8 goals. Yeah, we'll see. Hoskin Elliott to go with the Cameron and IQ at full forward. I don't mind that. Hoskin Elliott on Jeremy Cameron could be a decent shout. Probably a little bit too slender for Jeremy Cameron. I don't know. That would be an interesting matchup that we have. I don't think we haven't seen that before though. So that's the challenge Fly will have is who gets the Jeremy Cameron assignment, and is it a one-on-one role? Do we try roll across him and play an intercept on him? I guess that will be up for debate. Yep, he's done well on Danaher. He's done well on Max King and Lynch. Yep, interesting. Are we putting a stopper on Stewart? I wouldn't just yet. Just stick to your guns. Stick to your guns. I'd keep an eye on Dangerfield. I'd keep a close eye on Dangerfield. He's been very good all year. Managing through some injuries, he's been good. Put him on the bench. Krug up forward and Frampton down back. Yeah, I know. I'd love to see Kruger in a backline. Well, yeah, McStay is going to play some VFL against Geelong. When is that? Let me double check for you guys. VFL fixture. When does McStay play? When does McStay play against So he plays Saturday 1 p.m. at Victoria Park. And Geelong's VFL side are quite good. They're 4th on the ladder. Collingwood are 20th. The VFL has been a debacle for Collingwood, which is understandable given the injuries at AFL level. If we play DeGoey forward, do we need to bring in a Sullivan and McRae? No, I think Ned Long will take some minutes in the midfield if he starts. That's what I think. I think that makes sense. Who would Geelong use to tag Nick? Maybe like a Mark O'Connor? I don't know. I'm not too sure about that. Atkins, yeah. Tommy Atkins is obviously another one as well. It was great to see the Ben Reid video. What a champion he could have been. What he could have been if not for injury. Yeah, but I mean, like in the moment, sure, the injuries hurt you, but I think looking back at it, he's better off with that experience. Being a coach now, he's going to be able to pass on that knowledge and resources and how to manage through injuries. He talked about when Joe Richards was managing a hamstring injury at some point while he was at Wangaratta, and Richards was losing his mind, and Ben Reid was able to calm him down and ensure that it's just a niggle, and you're going to miss a couple of games and you'll be back and it'll be good as new. Just being able to hold him back and reel him back and giving some solace and peace, knowing that if you miss a game, it's not the end of the world, which is important to accept, particularly when you're young in your career. When you're injured for a week, you feel like the world is ending, which is ironic because when you actually get a significant injury, you wonder how you're going to deal with that if you can't deal with 1 week out. But you just adjust. That was interesting to hear from Reedy. I don't think the guy can give us 4 quarters. Keep him on forward. Give him limited times on the bench. Yes, Allen, manage his groins and things and keep him forward. No, so that was an accident. I've got Noble on a half-back flank, and that Noble in the forward pocket is meant to be Will Hoskin-Elliott. My apologies, JG. So you'd want to play Ash Johnson on Friday night. Then his papers are stamped that he won't be a Collingwood player. Yeah, if he fails on Friday night, it's a fair call. Yeah, we'll see if certainly if AJ gets an opportunity, I won't be mad. But if he doesn't perform, he's all but finished at Collingwood, isn't he? Would Fly play more in the forward line? I don't know. I'd like to see it, but the way I've structured my predicted 23, I can live with Darcy Moore being in the back line if he gets help. If we can see a Nathan Kruger there, I really want to see that. Yeah, it's supposed to be. Yeah, I think he's had his chance. Hey Jackson, how you going? Yeah, so there's meant to be a Noble in the back line, and the Noble in the forward line is meant to be Hoskin-Elliott. Yeah. JDG, he was carrying a groin, but he looks to be better. I think he's just trying to find his conditioning. Darcy Moore needs to lift, look after the backs, 100%. Moore 100% down back. Yeah, Pendle's definitely nursing that bicep. But Pendle's still had the most amount of tackles for the Collingwood side, despite that injured bicep against Essendon. How crazy is that? Your 36-year-old player, the oldest player on your list, is still accruing the most tackles for your team. How interesting is that? Yeah, he was good. He was in my top 3 as well. You predict Anthony needs some chicken soup. I've got something in the slow cooker. So my girlfriend made me some sort of lentil veggie soups. That should be healing, shouldn't it? I still got some coffee as well. All right. What else is going on? Let's see. Moore definitely carrying an injury. Do you think Howe should go back to give us some stability? Like I said, I think with this predicted 23, I think we can keep Howe forward. We'll have plenty of options. Howe, DeGoey, Reef will try to give us something. Ash Johnson is, like I said, I've got him listed as a fringe player. He could be in. We do miss DC being able to play forward, though, don't we? Really do. So the problem with Kruger playing in the back line means we don't have anyone in the forward line to pinch hit in a ruck, which I've just thought about. So does that mean Frampton stays in the side? So does Frampton stay in the side? Howe goes back and Charlie Dean remains out of the side. That's the other option. That's the other consideration, I reckon. Mundy will still play some decent footy at 37, so I think Pendles will be fine if he plays next year. A bit of a drop off, but not. Nah, he's very rarely been a liability, old mate Pendles, hasn't he? Very rarely. He's been a good man. Bobby Hill needs a big game. Fuck, hope nothing goes wrong before 400. Always nervous watching Pendles. Now, one big nay. Don't mention no injuries, Digsby. Come on. We don't talk about that here. Dean deserves his spot. I thought so too, Stab. That's why I've got him in my 23. I reckon so. So it's just who's going to play that second ruck role. Ooh, good question, JG. I would rather Ash Johnson play this week instead of Frampton, just given his form in the VFL. I say form, but he's played one good game. So need more speed and midfield. Trying to give Bobby some more speed. And yes, he's physical enough. We get killed on the spread with Pendles. Why don't we try Isaac Quaynor in the middle? Why don't we try that? Ned Long probably doesn't have bursting speed out of contest. He's more of a contested ball. So let's see where that goes. It'll be an interesting one. But I just feel like with Brampton out of the team as well, we're going to struggle pinch hitting in the ruck. Who's going to be assigned that role with my predicted 23? Where's Pom Dog? What's he saying? Like side bottom, does back still potent. You reckon Pendles could next year move to half forward, act as a conduit target, but also nice use inside 50 like Elliott was minus the pace. I guess that's the biggest issue with Pendles, Pommy, is he lacks that bursting pace. So if he was to play forward, we're going to have to compensate for his lack of pressure. Yes, he's able to lay tackles in the contest. As I mentioned before, he had the most tackles for Collingwood against Essendon, which is ironic given he's fucking 36 years old. But I just don't think he can defend from the front at his age. I think once he's finished in the midfield, he's been tried at halfback before. I think back in 2020 and even a few years before that, he had played halfback. He could play there, but again, lacking speed. It's a difficult conversation, Pommy. It really is. Stealth, I reckon Josh Eyre was close to an opportunity this week, but I think he's suffered a concussion in the VFL, unfortunately. So that's a difficult one, eh? IQ was playing on the wing quite a bit in the Dons game. Yeah, he was playing on the wing, and he started off okay and then just dwindled out. Would I be mad if he played wing again? I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind a Quaynor playing on the wing again. I think he's just got a lot of versatility to offer to the side. I really do. That's what I like about Isaac. I think he offers more, which is why we don't need to drop Isaac Quaynor. Yes, he's not playing well in the back line. Like, let's have a look at Quaynor's stats this year relative to last year. It's been a monumental drop in output, a massive drop. So he's down 3 disposals from last year. His efficiency is down. His kicking efficiency is down 7 percentage points. He's not finding uncontested possessions as easily as he was last year. He was averaging 2.5 intercept marks last year. He's currently averaging 1 per game now. 1 per game. His defensive work, though, is still good in the one-on-one contest, which is why I'm not super concerned when he does play back still, because, yes, while he's not intercepting the ball and he's maybe not fighting the ball as well, he's doing what is important first and foremost. That's to defend your opposition. Definitely missing Titch. His defensive work in the middle is underrated. Yep. Yeah. Are you robbing Peter to pay Paul by keeping Pendles out of the midfield, though? Outside of Nick Daicos, Jack Crisp, he's probably our next best midfielder at the moment. I mean, if we look at Pendles' last few games in the middle, do you really want to take someone out like a Pendles who's been playing as well as he has? I understand the speed bit. Funnily enough, Pommy, there was actually a sequence in the game where Pendles ran out of the front of that centre bounce contest and either kicked a goal or had a kick going inside 50, which led to an assist, which is fascinating. Let's see. So 24 disposals, 18 disposals in his return game, 23 disposals in the game beyond that, 30, 28, 22, 23. So still doing his bit. It's an interesting one. What's Rock Rover, no? I feel Pendlebury could be better off halfback. I would go Pendlebury off halfback before I would forward. Forget Cox, people. He's cooked as a pie. He does offer that pinch hitting ruck option, though. Yeah. I just think, guys, Pendles lacks a little bit of speed to play anything outside of that inside midfielder role, which is what he's doing right now. Hey, Anthony, is Brazzy carrying an injury? He had a corky going into the game against Essendon, but managed to get through it. So a really honourable effort by the man, Brazzy. Yeah, just unlucky, yep. Could hide him out back, I suppose. Could he be like Caterson, protected him, using pace at blue, so maybe Noble in front of him and uses his skill to drive the ball by foot. Also, huge Daicos fan. Pommy, I've made the case that we probably the most important section that needs some sort of actioning from a, I guess, structure standpoint is probably that half back line. So if you can find Nobles and Jack Crisps and Nick Daicoses across the half back line to compensate for Pendlebury's lack of speed, that would work. But we're not actually seeing Jack. I thought Jack Crisp would play a lot more off the half back flank on the weekend. What did he end up? I really thought that was going to be the move. They ended up just relying on Markov and side bottom, which I don't know if you want to be relying on that going into a final series if we get that far. Let's see. What did Crisp have? Centre backs attendances. So he still played 70% of his time in the midfield, Jack Crisp. So, yeah, I just don't think John Noble and side bottom off the half back flank is going to be the answer to rely on and depend on for the entirety of our games. I still think there's a world where we can find a Jack Crisp or a Nick Daicos running off the half back at some point towards the back end of this season. We need to do something with Q to get him into form. Yep, and I mean, Fly is definitely trying something, Ninja. He put him in there. He put Q on the wing. Didn't quite work. Didn't find the ball a whole lot. So I'm sure Fly has some ideas up his sleeve regarding Q. Maybe he plays on the wing again. I'm not too sure. I thought Oleg was one of our better players the other night. He gave solid effort when others didn't. Yes, his effort was there. He had 17 touches. I think 11 of them kicks. Had 4 scoring involvements, which is decent. A decent return for a halfback flanker. I mentioned pre-game that he only had 1 intercept mark for the entire year. Last year, Oleg Markov was averaging 1 intercept mark per game. Per game. And this year he's only had 1 intercept mark. Well, 2 now, because he had 1 in the Essendon game. So he was actually one of the more impressive players when it comes to our fringe pool of players. What's happened with Ed Allen? Mate, I hand on heart, mate, I genuinely don't know a whole lot about him. Obviously, I saw his game against it was against Freo. And Sharpie from the Dockers just ran him up and down the wing. And I guess with your wingers, mate, you typically want them to use the ball quite well. He was quite poor with his ball use when he did have the ball. But in saying that, mate, like, he's young, obviously. So you're not gonna what do you expect from a youngster in their first game? He's quite slender, a bit, probably needs to fill out a little bit more as well. But what do you have in that game? He had 7 touches that game against Freo. Probably more of a long-term prospect, Pommy. 42% disposal efficiency as a winger from 3 kicks and 4 handballs. And then, like I said, Jeremy Sharp, on the other hand, in that game against the Dockers, Sharpie was unreal. I'm not sure if you remember that. I never understood why we haven't played side bottom out of the goal square. I don't mind him at halfback, but his disposal at time concerned to be coming out of D50. I thought his disposal was a lot better and more reminiscent of what we've come to know of Sidey, Peter, when it comes to his disposal efficiency. Look, there's always that option to play Sidey in the forward lane, guys. We're always going to know. Sidey fucking knows where the goals are. I think, again, if we have a look at his career, old mate Sidey. Let me go AFL tables, guys. AFL tables. Sidey knows where the goals are, particularly when he was playing in the middle, in the guts. There were years, I think in 2009, 2010, 2011, where he just found the goal for fun. And we know his TAC Cup Grand Final kicked 10 goals. If I have to mention that again. Sidey, let's go here. So, averages. So in 2011, he averaged a goal a game. 2010, he averaged a goal a game. 2016, he nearly averaged a goal a game, and same as 2013. Sidey has kicked 5 goals in a match. He's kicked 4 goals 3 times. He's kicked 3 goals many times. Who were those 5 goals against? It was against North Melbourne in 2010. And I think one of those 4-goal efforts would have been against Essendon in an Anzac Day performance, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And he was sick. Still side bottom. that game. What do you have? He had 35 disposals and 4 goals. And I think Collingwood ended up winning by like 60 odd points. 69 points. How many players are having a better year this year than last? Not many, I would assume. Nick Daicos is having a better season than last year, I would argue. That's about it, isn't it? Let me check. Let me have a look at my. Let's have a look. Oh, Jamie Elliott was playing pretty well before he got injured. Josh Daicos is playing just as good. Probably up until last week was probably in All-Australian contention for that wing position. Probably, I'm not sure if you're here, but I really rate Blake Acres as a winger. I don't think he gets enough raps around the league. I'm sure he's loved within the 4 walls at Carlton. But I just, his final series in particular last year and his ability to get back defensively as well, I actually think he's a highly underrated winger. I think he signed on recently, didn't he, for the Blues? Who's playing better? I think Howard's probably having a better season. Bobby Hill could be having a better season if you kick straight. DC's probably having a better season. Jack Crisp is definitely having a better season. There's definitely players who are playing well. Lipinski is 100% having a better season, 100% compared to last year. Lipinski was all over the shop. And obviously with that injury last year to his shoulder in the preseason wasn't ideal, okay? But he just seems to be attacking the contest much more better. So where are we at with Lipinski? Like his stats, disposals-wise, he's only averaging one extra disposal per game. But I would like to look at he's just a link-up type of player. But he's finding the ball, the goals a bit more, nearly averaging a goal a game. Whereas last year he was averaging less than half a goal a game. Score involvements, what are they saying? Let's see. Score involvements. He's averaging just over 1 more score involvement. So while the stats may not indicate that Paddy's not having too much of a better season compared to last year, you watch him in the game and you can respect that he's definitely playing a lot better than last year. He's 33, Steve. Hard to kick goals as a small forward when you're old. I personally don't think he's as slow as people think. Sam Mitchell, for me, is the best midfield transition player ever, and Pendles is mile ahead mental-wise, brain speed negates foot speed. Yeah, 100%. That's why Pendles remains relevant in AFL because he just dances around players and he just, I guess, sells them going the other way. He sells them going the other way and still finds himself running out of contests from time to time. So Pommy, if you had to pick, you're putting Pendles off the halfback flank or you putting him as a high half forward? If I had to choose between the two, I'm probably going off the halfback flank and, like I said, put some speed around him to accommodate that. But I think it'll be too much to compensate for it in our front half. Would rather Kruger than Cox. He does lack speed, but he's pretty elite kick and can make good connection to mid or forward line. Yep. He'll play when he's ready. Too important. If we don't play Cox, he may as well retire. Yeah, it'll be interesting with Coxie. Like I said, the only thing that's saving Coxie is his aerial ability, his pinch hitting ability. He's actually quite a good ruckman. He's an improved ruckman, and he's a proven finals player. I just don't think Kruger out is the answer for Cox in. I think there's a world now with my check out, we're going to see McStay, DC, Kruger, and Cox in the same team if we make the finals. Bobby Hill seems suspended before he has it. Yeah, particularly against Gold Coast, Senzo, there were times where he forgot about the ball. He'd take his eye off the ball for half a moment. He'd fumble. The ball would bounce the other way. So I suppose that's been a bit of an issue for Bobby, but you can't fault the man for trying. I think he's been one of our best players this year. Rupert, who's playing second ruck? Dan seems pretty banged up. Yeah, and that's my my shortfall in my predicted 23. I haven't really accounted for a pinch hitting ruckman, especially if Frampton's out. And Kruger, if I've got Kruger in a back line, you can't. I don't know if you can ask him to play in a ruck as well. It's a lot of work. So that's probably my only blemish in this predicted 23, albeit a significant blemish. Kruger can play it for now, maybe. With that lineup, we're still missing one taller defender, but our smalls have been dominating contested marks inside 50. How good was it to see Jeremy Howe win 101 contested marks inside our forward 50? It's ironic, as a defender, when it comes to his one-on-one play, Jeremy Howe's actually not that good at all when it comes to his one-on-one defensive ability in his D50. But when the tables turn and he goes forward, he's able to win one-on-ones and use his body perfectly. Just tell Sidebottom he's playing Carlton every week. Bloke turns into Gary Ablett Jr. against us. All right, let me pull up the old trustful AFL tables again, Pommy. I want to see what his history is like. Interesting. Where is he? He's gotten 6 Brownlow votes in his career against Carlton. He's kicked 17 goals, which is the third most amongst any of the teams he's versed. It's surprisingly, it's not his favourite team, Pommy. His most Brownlow votes are against Essendon. 23 disposals, 20 goals in 25 games. He also likes playing against Brisbane, Fremantle, St Kilda. Doesn't mind Adelaide. Yeah. Interesting. DC having a better year. Oh, yeah. Tomo, how you going, mate? I'm good. Well, I'm as good as you can be. I've got an earache. I've been sleeping all day. I took work off, but I couldn't take the stream off. I had to be here. Pommy still had a great month. Yeah. Nick, Harvey Harrison. I think Harvey Harrison is better. I love Blake Acres, mate. He's so clutch. Acres is mental. Carlton fans are only starting to get used to having wingers after 20 years of playing the fastest inside mid there. Yeah, he's been such a lock on the wing. He's been such a lock. Is Ollie Hollands the other winger? The endurance king? Elijah is his older brother, right? The one that came from Gold Coast. Is that right? It's probably just me, but I feel Josh is playing Bruce free footy. Ooh, hot takes, Chrissy. I don't know. Guys, typically as a winger, like you're playing an outside contest game for the most part anyway. So how many one-on-one contests you're going to get involved in as a winger is going to be limited. And he's not necessarily there to roll back defensively and take an intercept mark either. What do you say, mate? Are we making finals or not? Always have faith, Tomo. Always have faith. Let's just win this game this weekend. Let's win this game on Friday. Can you believe Blake Acres was delisted by Frere? That's tragic, isn't it? That's an absolute travesty. Lipper was lucky he played in the grand final. He was lucky, but he's redeemed himself this year. So it's warranted now. He deserves it. Do you think our forward line is too small against Geelong's tall backs? Well, Sam De Koning and Tom Stewart will be playing in the middle. Sam De Koning will be the ruckman. Stewart starts in the middle. Whether he rolls into the back line straight after the centre bounce is something else to consider. Well, so let's have a look just quickly. Who's playing in the back line for Geelong? Who do they have against Hawthorn? Let's see. Team. Let's have a look. So, I mean, Jack Henry? Humphreys. Is he a youngster? Humphreys? How old is he? Age 21. So he seems like to be a young up-and-coming key tall backman, I think, if I'm not mistaken, guys. So he's played 2 games. So I'm not too concerned with our smaller forward line going up against what Geelong are presenting at the moment in their back line. It's not the same. It's different. Quaynor's been very average. Yeah, I think Harrison's sub. Despite kicking 2 goals against Essendon, I think he just needs a bit of a breather mentally as that young player coming into the AFL? Tough one, as I think next year you have to find someone to complement Nick, as it's technically his midfield. Something we never did with Cripps. Find his support early once Judd died. Halfback probs. Okay, yeah. Pommy, we do have a father-son prospect in Thomas McGuan that could help Nick Daicos, not next year, but the year after. He's touted to go high in the draft, old mate McGuan. How much it's going to cost us? Probably a lot. Much like the Camporelli brothers in this draft, if the AFL want to stitch you guys up. Boomer here. Don't book holidays yet. I sense a big turnaround. See in the post-match stream. Go Pies. Boomer, thanks, mate. Yep, nobody's booking holidays yet. We're going to keep September free. I'm just praying the Cats have an off game this week. Do you think his use is elite? He finds that ball. So depending on long term of Elliott, you go Schultz, Hill, Howe, and play penalties at link man away from middle for 70% of his game. And that's if he plays forward, right, Pommy? That's what you're saying. I'm just praying the Cats have an off game this week. Yeah, look, Collingwood have been good. Collingwood have been good outside of the last couple of weeks. We really put ourselves in a good position while we're undermanned, and then we've regressed. We've regressed the last 2 weeks. It's ironic because we get back some troopers, we get the Myerchecks, the Pendleburys, the Goeys, and you think, all right, how good's this? We're top 4, and now we can solidify it. And then we shit the bed against Gold Coast, and we shit the bed against Essendon. So I think we should expect a big response. 3 goals against Carlton in 2023. I think he played good in that 2022 one as well, Pommy. Do I think Sullivan could come back for the grunt work? Well, I think Ned Long should be acknowledged for the impact he had coming on as the sub against Essendon and play that contested role in the midfield. I don't think you can have Ned Long and Sullivan in the same side with what we have here. Hot take, the goal is to kick 3 goals and we'll go forward more. Would love that. And I'll happily accept that. Would love that. I swear, whenever Nick Daicos has had a bad game, he still racks up the disposals. Yeah, I don't think people think he's actually his ball use was poor on the weekend. He's playing as the tap 2 midfielder and being tagged at the same time. So his disposal efficiency is going to take a hit, but still managed to get the 2 coaches' votes. So did you nullify Nick Daicos? Maybe a little bit, but maybe it's more so the problem is it's players around him need to lift. That's the reality. I don't think he had a bad game. He had coaches' votes, had 30-odd touches, had fucking 12 clearances for the game, guys. You have 12 clearances for the game. It's very rare that you're going to have a good disposal efficiency when you have someone chasing your tail and you've got 12 clearances for the game. It's going to hurt your disposal efficiency. Long and crisp big bodies would be good to help out Nick. Geordie needs to apply himself more. He should be more consistent at his age. He should be more consistent. And I pointed out before, the fact that Scott Pendlebury, the 36-year-old in our team, had the most tackles against Essendon, that's not acceptable from a team standpoint. Bobby Hill to score a few would be good. I think the 2022 game, we tagged him 2 from memory, and he basically did what he wanted. Was this Nick Daicos? What did he have against not to bring up bad memories, Pommy? What did he have against you guys in that game? I just remember Cripps fucking tearing it up. He looked unstoppable, didn't he? So let's go match stats. The 2022. Where is it? Here we go. So Nick had 25 touches, 8 contested possessions, played predominantly in the back line, half-back flank. One behind, 5 score involvements, 1 goal assist. He was okay. Bro, who is this? Who's injured? Ollie is, yes, learning the trade. Elijah, yeah, the big brother, both going well. Elijah's going very well, finding the scoreboard quite well as well, old mate Elijah, isn't he? Who recalls Bobby Hill's contract to be upgraded? Not in the performance of the last few weeks. Cigar de Yorgos. Cigar. Let me say, man. Bobby's been good. He's played a bad game here and there. Probably this was something we were talking about early in the year, and Josh has had minimal opportunities. He's had some, albeit minimal opportunity in the midfield. I don't know why we don't try it more with the speed, which is what we're looking for. I also suggested maybe there's a world where Josh Daicos plays off the half-back flank. He's fast, great ball user, good. Will be handy in the link-up chain, but I don't know. I feel like we have enough depth on the wing, but now all of a sudden side bottom's gone back to the half-back flank, and he played very well. So Josh Daicos to the middle or the half-back flank, I would love either. I would love to see both of them. Let's have a look. So Daicos in the middle. He featured a bit when DeGoey and Pendlebury were out. Other than that, though, match stats. Here we go. Okay. So his peak was between round 11 and round 14. Yeah, 21% centre-backs attendances, and 35, then 26, then 22. And since the DeGoey and Pendlebury been back, it's been 3% and 0%. He had 6 clearances. He's had 6 clearances twice when he's played more in the midfield. So there's definitely a conversation for Josh Daicos to return back to the midfield. I mean, we're winning games when he was in there, albeit for 25% of the time. It's more than 0%, which is what he's gotten over the last 2 weeks. So definitely, to answer your question, probably definitely scope for Josh Daicos to be in the midfield. Too much change without the neural memory of the new team structure and positioning is a recipe for disaster. Yeah, the injuries, the chopping and changing with the players around in different positions, it's going to hurt you. Are we going to see a Pies Footy and Blues abroad collaboration? Yeah, I think we'll probably do something for the week we come up against Carlton, which might be Pendle's 400th game. So I'll speak to Terry and old mate Pom regarding that. We'll see what we can muster up. Forward line's too small. Not against this Geelong side, I don't think. I think we can make it work. But that's my forward line. I mean, that's not going to be Fly McRae's forward line, is it? I think it's going to be unlikely that Kruger plays in the forward line, but that's just something I'd like to see. We need at least one tall because our small forwards are going to have to work twice as hard to get inside 50s. They've shown this year they can't really. Yep. What would you think about us taking Parrish from Essendon and taking on his contract? I would avoid Parrish. I would avoid Parrish. If we play 4 quarters, we'll beat Geelong, Anthony. I hope so, mate. Geelong were a bit of a bogey side for the Pies. I mean, last year we beat them twice, but before that, they had our number for the most part. What's with the Nick Daicos hate university? Kid's built different, but he's basically a child. He's going to have an off game. Not many under 100 games can break games open day one. Everyone raving about Reed. Nick is about 10 years ahead of Reed year one. Yeah, I guess this comes with the standard that's been set for the young man. I think people who understand footy respect that he's still finding ways to impact the game when he's being tagged. Yeah, 12 clearances against Essendon when being tagged is a feat in itself, isn't it? The boys are premiership drunk still and haven't the hunger this year. They need the poison of sitting at the finals this year to stare their blood for hunger next year. Hopefully, maybe. We're only getting older though, Ken. So I'd like to see us slide into the final series this year and see how we go. We'll be looking at Alex Davies from the Suns as a money ball mid for next year. Interesting. I don't know a whole lot about Alex Davies from the Gold Coast Suns. Hello there, Manny. Gunner there, man. How are you? Are you feeling better? You looking forward to the game against the Cats? I think the difference between Collingwood and other teams is that everyone else trains during their bye, but Collingwood go to Dreamworld. Hey, we're allowed to relax a little bit, Tomo, yeah? We're allowed to enjoy ourselves. A little bit. Brother, here in Japan, 32 today, just had a bento and rice. Bobby Hill in the middle this week for first time Mr. gets in touch. A few people mentioning this whole Bobby Hill into the middle thing. I'd probably like to see Isaac Quaynor go through there before Bobby Hill. I'd like to see Josh Daicos feature there before we see Bobby Hill. I think Bobby Hill offers too much, being that link-up player as a high half forward, and then he also kicks goals and has aerial ability, can play on taller defenders. But guys, I think I'm going to leave it there. I don't know how I got through that. I've had some shots of coffee and some Barocca. I've been sleeping all day, saving myself for this stream. So didn't go to work, but I stayed. I reserved as much energy as possible for the stream. So I'll leave you guys with it. Take care, guys. Thanks for joining us tonight. Go Pies.